Everyone is chasing doors. They're chasing duplex. They're chasing the BRRRR, the Airbnb arbitrage. But what if the real play, the Warren Buffett plan, Warren Buffett's move, the big move, wasn't houses or traditional real estate at all? What if it was just dirt? What if it was boring old raw land? No termites, no tenants, no toilets, and nothing but freaking upside. We're going to talk about the 7 reasons that people buy land and it makes an awesome investment. And I'm Anton Stetner. I'm here in the Seattle Metro. I've been doing land development stuff for over 20 years here in our area. I love this freaking game, and here's why. Land banking over the years has always been one of these silent strategies employed by millionaires and billionaires everywhere. And it's a way to create generational wealth. You simply buy land and wait. Buy land at the edge of town. Buy land in the path of development. Buy land at the edge of zoning where we know at some point in the future it's going to change. A good example of this is you can look inside of comprehensive plans for most cities, most counties. They will tell you where the future growth is going. Just simply go buy on the edge of growth and then wait for time to show up. This isn't about cash flow. This is just simply about appreciation and allowing zoning and time to make you rich. In certain metros, there is this massive appreciation potential on land because of artificial zoning laws. When you can own land inside of the urban growth areas, inside of the development areas, at times that is going to massively out appreciate your standard duplex or residential property in that area because of scarcity. Land has low holding costs. It's not something you have to pay for on a monthly basis. You can pay for it once in cash and then just sit there on it. Plus, you don't have to deal with tenants moving in and out of the property. There's no repairs. There's no maintenance. Just taxes and sometimes some minimal insurance on the property. So it's easy to hold land, but your capital is stuck there. So we're not just going to sit there and hold land over and over and over again. We always have a plan, and we usually have plans A, B, C, and D, possibilities for the land and a reason we're specifically holding it. Development opportunities. This personally is one of our favorite reasons to own land. You can buy it, you can build commercial on it, multifamily, warehouse, whatever the zoning allows, and the value generally skyrockets after some type of entitlement. So what our goal is to buy land in the raw and then get it to some type of entitlement, a permit, a approved subdivision, approved townhomes, approved warehouses, get the engineering approved or the civil construction drawings approved, and then sell it ready to go. That way we've maximized the first stage of development potential out of the property without actually having to turn the dirt. We love it for its scarcity and the zoning arbitrage. This is something we're doing on a regular basis. We kind of mentioned this earlier in the video. And the scarcity is most states, most cities, most counties are artificially limiting where housing and commercial development can go. So they're artificially limiting supply, which is when you limit supply and demand is a constant, prices rise. And then the zoning arbitrage is when we know that zoning's going to change. We know that there's something happening in the future. A good example of the zoning arbitrage is you go right to the edge of commercial and there's that old crusty house, but the strip mall stops right there, or the mall, or the office complexes. What's going to happen in the future, provided it's in the path of growth and provided it's in the long-term comprehensive plan to grow that way, you can buy the house on the edge that's now going to become commercial in the future, or possibly multifamily in the future. This has been a phenomenal arbitrage for us over the years. Another arbitrage is upzoning. That's where we buy a property, for example, and it's zoned at 12 units an acre. We then go through a rezone and get it zoned for 24. Now you have double the density, and we can immediately turn around and spin that piece of property. There are people who will buy land just for privacy and legacy. You see this quite often. Maybe they live in a rural environment and they start purchasing all the land around their property. Or they buy a huge piece of land so it's a legacy property. That's very common. It's not one of our wealth building strategies. However, I may or may not have personally bought a large piece of property, so I get the privacy part. That part makes sense to me. These last two are some of our favorites. There are tax advantages. It is great to get a property to entitlements without turning the dirt. Then we 1031 it into another property, not having to pay the capital gains. Or conversely, we're selling some other project, coming into this land development project and 1031 into the project. Our goal is to always not pay capital gains or be in long-term capital gains with our land and our land development projects. There are also things known as opportunity zones, which over a 10-year period could create a tax-free investment for you. And last on our list is my absolute favorite. So we're doing the zoning, we're doing the arbitrage, we're doing the development opportunities, we're creating the entitlements. And what does this give us? It gives us massive creative exit strategies. So we always have plan A, B, C, and D for a particular piece of property. And as you move through the phases from raw land to some type of a preliminary approval, to a subdivision or a site plan that's approved, to the engineering, to the finished building pads, to the built final product. Each one of those has its own exit strategies, and we can sell them all at once in 1031. We can sell them on installment sales and get a regular clip. We can bring in outside investors and build the multifamily. We can do a joint venture with a builder. We can build it out ourselves. This is what I freaking love. There's just so many options because you have this blank slate sitting in front of you, and the world is your oyster, and you make decisions based on time, capital, returns, and yes, fun. Because some projects are just a gigantic pain, so we go, we don't want to finish this one. And some we're just in love with, and we want to finish it. I'm Anton Stetner. We're here in the Seattle Metro. Love chatting about land development, love chatting about investment opportunities in that specific space, how we can help you. Please hit us at rsg.com. Search us up on the web, hit that magic subscribe button, and drop your questions below. If I missed something, let me know. I'm sure there's millions of more ways other than the 7 things we just talked about.